Hey Joe, what day is it, bud?
Oh, it just so happens to be 30-minute Thursday on Sports Ramble. My
Oh,
name's Joe
baby.
Silik, joined by Big D Dennis Pond and our host, Corbin Rush. I think we're diving into some playoff football tonight, boys.
So I think tonight we start off with the Miami Buffalo game, and I have something that I need to get off my chest that's going to be a little controversial, but it needs to be said. Josh Allen is exceptionally average without Brian Daboll. The guy is not the same guy he was the last 2 years. Brian Daboll has changed what Josh Allen is capable of. And without him, I don't think the Bills make it past the Bengals. And I don't know how many deep playoff runs they'll make with Josh Allen at the helm in Buffalo. Not impressive. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 23 of 39, 352 yards. I mean, the yards are good. The completion percentage isn't awful. But when you're like touted as the third best quarterback in the NFL, you expect to put up numbers in the playoffs. And 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and only almost losing to Skylar Thompson, the freaking cash register quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. There's no way that this guy should even they shouldn't even be in the same game, and yet somehow they only win by 3 points. And Miami had a chance. So Buffalo, you got a lot of things to figure out. Josh Allen, I'm looking at you. You got a lot of things to figure out, bud. That's not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done.
All right. I'm gonna jump right on that and I'm gonna say, okay, his performance has been a little underwhelming lately, but
A little.
you can't bring up the point about they're gonna lose to the Bengals. Josh Allen could play the best game of anyone's ever seen, and they're still gonna lose to the Bengals. The Bengals are just the better team.
I'm
Josh Allen is still that entire offense, regardless of his red zone turnovers this year. He's still that entire offense.
horrendous.
I can't even with you. Don't interrupt my fucking takes. I cannot with you. Josh Allen without Daboll has been disappointing. I think he gets it together though. Like he is the third best quarterback in the league. And maybe he hasn't played like he's probably played like the sixth or seventh best this year. But we all know what his ceiling is. And his ceiling is number one. And we can't forget that. You can't underplay that.
Without Brian Dable, does he ever play to his ceiling though? That's the
Yes.
real question.
It just
When?
takes a little bit of adjustment.
I don't know. I don't know, Josh. Joe, what do you gotta?
I mean, Josh Allen, like, yes, you can. I agree with what you and Dennis said about him declining. Maybe not. He's just not as electric as he was with Dable, right? Does that mean he's not a playmaker? No. Does that mean he's not a playoff quarterback? No. Does that mean he doesn't have a chance at winning a Super Bowl every year with that Buffalo Bills team and that roster? No. I think they are serious Super Bowl contenders. Like, okay, the Bengals, we all know that. I mean, all three of us love the Bengals. Like, I mean,
Love the Bengals.
I see them in the Super Bowl, right?
Nice.
The Bills, like, could easily, and I mean, Dennis might disagree with me on this, but I think the Bills could easily beat the Bengals, go on to beat the Chiefs, and end up in the Super Bowl. I see it happening. I don't
Against the
say that's
weaker
what, like,
NFC opponent.
exactly. I just don't see it like I don't know. That's not my favorite like odds for that to happen, but like it's very plausible. And I think that like playoff Josh Allen against the Miami Dolphins, like who would have thought they would have played a good game? The Bills definitely didn't think they were going to play a good game. They don't even have a quarterback.
I meant to bring that up. Skylar Thompson played a hell of a game.
Yeah,
You know how
exactly.
many
I don't think we can
you know how
ignore the
many
fact.
drops his receivers had?
Yeah,
Fair.
Did you watch that game?
I only
It was,
watched like the third quarter. I was in an airport, so
it, the first like 10 passes, he had what, like two completions, but nine of them hit the receivers in the hands. Like,
yeah.
it
That's
was
what I'm saying.
ridiculous.
Like we can't ignore like okay, yeah, okay, there was that instance, but like you can't ignore the fact that the Dolphins still played a pretty decent game
And it's against a
against
divisional opponent.
exactly. Yeah. You can't like blame the Bills for the Dolphins showing up when no one thought they'd actually show up.
Yeah. Like, are you going to talk smack about the Bengals almost losing to the Ravens? It's the same scenario.
Exactly. It's very similar.
And everybody's just like, oh, yeah, the Bengals are a great team. It's the same scenario. Division opponent. They've already played each other twice this year.
I don't know, man. I watched Josh, but you have to take into account like 3 quarters through 3 quarters, Josh Allen had looked as good as Skylar Thompson. Like he had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. And I texted Dennis and I was like, man, this is looking ugly. And the next thing I know, he throws like 2 touchdown passes. And I'm like, well, never mind. But like, I'm just saying, like, he has the potential. He has the knockout punch. It's Joe, I know you love this because I know you love my quarterback comparisons, but but what I see in Josh Allen is just a whole lot of Brett Favre. Like, he'll sling that thing all over the yard. Like, but he doesn't care who he's throwing to. It doesn't matter like where the ball is going. He's just going to throw it up there and hope his receiver's in the area. I don't know.
I don't think any of us were alive if Brett Favre ever actually hurdled a man.
No, I'm saying like his style.
I don't think you can make that comparison. No, I don't think you can make that comparison.
Decision making. His decision making is just like Brett Favre. Brett Favre had
as a pocket, like when Josh Allen sits in the pocket and makes pocket passes, like that's when you can compare him to Brett Favre. But as soon as he gets out of the pocket, who do you compare him to?
RG3, but bigger Cam Newton. Literally Cam Newton.
A more springy Cam Newton. But no, I'm just saying, like, in my mind, I look at him and I think, okay, like when he throws the ball, it's just like watching Brett Favre. It could be the most amazing throw you've ever seen in your entire life, or it could be a dot to the defense. Like, there is such a wide margin for what's going to happen when Josh Allen decides to throw the ball.
We're gonna have to edit that out as a copyright infringement.
No, it'll stay in. I'm already in trouble with the law. I'll take it on. I'm not worried about it. But right, no, so calm down. What's gonna happen here is Josh Allen tries to throw the ball, and you have no idea where it's gonna go. It could be great, or it could be straight to the defense. Like, and he could make the most beautiful throw any of us have ever seen, like 65 yards in the air, in stride to Stephon Diggs. And I'm pretty sure that happened in the game. But then he throws awful picks, or he's just extremely wildly inaccurate. I just like, if Josh Allen wants to win a Super Bowl, he has to get more consistent. And it's like Brett Favre won a Super Bowl being as wildly inaccurate and crazy as he was with his decision-making, but he also almost lost them games. Like, he won them games, but he also almost lost them games. And I'm on the same, like, mindset with Josh Allen. Josh Allen can win you games, and he does, in fact, win you games. And he could win you games up until the Super Bowl if he's hot. But if he's not hot, I don't know. I don't think Josh Allen will – I think Josh Allen will be the reason you lose games in the playoff as well as win them. That's just how I feel.
He's the entire offense, Corbin.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't be that bad, like that inconsistent if you're the entire offense. You have to be able to make the throws that, like, when they count.
Okay, but here's the thing though. Like, okay, we can talk. We're going to talk on this in a little bit, I know, but like, Dak Prescott had one of the worst games of his career against the Commanders the last week of the regular season, and then he comes out and just unleashes hell on the Bucs.
And I don't believe in Dak Prescott either.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, you can't judge a quarterback off one game.
I'm not judging him off one game. I'm judging him off his season away from Brian Daboll. What we've seen from him this year.
They're 13-3.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at his. He can't.
They literally they had a good shot to lock up the number 1 seed had they played all the games.
Well, they weren't beating Cincinnati in Cincinnati.
They might. You can't say that.
Yeah,
it's 3-7.
I don't see it happen. No, but I don't know. I just like, I don't know. I think Josh Allen, and it might get me canceled. I don't know. But I think Josh Allen is average without Brian Daboll. And I think that should be concerning for the Bills. Not average in the sense of like his overall game is average, but he has some very average to below average moments without Brian Daboll. The red zone turnovers is insane.
Everybody has average moments.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't. Joe Burrow doesn't.
Let me pull up the game log, and I'll tell you about some Patrick Mahomes average moments. What week did they play the Colts?
Fair enough.
Did they win?
No, they lost to the Colts.
That's one of the Colts' only wins this year. Anyway, like I'm saying, like I'm not even like a huge Josh Allen fan. Like I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he's great. I'm not a big fan of him. And you got me defending him like he's my favorite quarterback, Corbin.
He's the 4th best quarterback in the NFL right now.
All right.
I'd love to hear who your number 3 is. And if you say Trevor Lawrence, I'm leaving.
Trevor Lawrence.
No,
okay. Well, no, I don't know. Trevor Lawrence has played better than Josh Allen has lately.
He has. I'd switch him. I'd say Allen's 3, Lawrence is 4.
Yeah, that's okay. I think that's the closest thing we're gonna get to a compromise.
Yeah. All right, moving on from that topic. They got a little heated. I think we'll scale it back here. We'll be a little all right. We'll rein it in. So Bengals Ravens, 24-17. Underwhelming from the Bengals, but their offensive line is beat up. Joe Burrow has no time. it's kind of a repeat of what happened in the playoffs last year. If they can't figure this out, then Joe Burrow is going to have a very short career, and the playoff run might come to an end in Buffalo. I don't know. I mean, he didn't play bad. He was 23 of 32, 209 yards and 1 touchdown. But I don't know, man. Like with that offensive line as like Swiss cheese as it is, it just doesn't. It's not sitting great in my stomach. Can he do it 2 years in a row? It doesn't feel right. Because last year, yeah, he was getting sacked, but it also was his first year getting hit that many times. Two playoff runs in a row, trying to fight your way through that. Because what is that? An extra 4 games? Yeah. So I mean, that's a lot to deal with. So I don't know. Bengals, you scrape by with the win. You made Tyler Huntley look way better than he should have, and I don't know. I need to see that offensive line shore up just a little bit, man. Give the guy some time. It's going to be bad if he don't.
We also have to talk about that whole like fumble recovery, 98-yard fumble recovery.
It's a 14-point swing. Like the game, there's a 14-point swing for the
big man touchdown. Big man touchdown.
He was moving too.
He was.
But so that's
we love a big man touchdown.
Love to see it. So that's what I have to say about that. I need to see some sort of improvement from the Bengals offensive line for me to really believe that they have a Super Bowl chance this year. Because that 49ers D, if they make it, holy crap. Imagine Joe Burrow trying to So all right, Dennis, what did you think about that game?
I watched the whole game start to finish. Violently hungover while watching it, but still watched the whole thing. Never did I think like, oh shoot, the Ravens might win this. Like I knew the Bengals were gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I think the more concerning thing was, oh, wait a minute. Like, they don't look great against this Ravens team without their quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, their defense isn't holding up against Tyler Huntley. Like, they got lucky and got a goal line fumble recovery for what? Was it 98 yards? 99 yards?
98 yards, yeah. Also, why QB sneak and try to reach over at the 2 yard? That's so far back.
Yeah, it's too far back for that.
Too far back. You got to be like inches.
Yeah, half-yard line.
Yeah. But that, so like even like when they were like on the goal line to tie it up, I was still like, okay, the Bengals are going to win. But I was more concerned like, wow, they do not look great right now. Joe Burrow is getting absolutely mollywopped right now. Like, it seemed like he was getting sacked every other play. And like, it's not his fault. It's not like he was just like having poor pocket awareness. There was no pocket. Like, you can't have awareness for something that's not there. And that's not the best D line that they're going to face this postseason if they make a run. Because Bills have a solid D line even without Von Miller. The Chiefs have a great 2 studs on D line, and Chris Jones and Frank Clark.
Yeah.
And then don't get me started on San Francisco.
Yeah,
Kyle Shanahan would ruin is going to end Joe Burrow's career.
Yeah.
So, and like that's the thing is like, oh sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. That was all I need to say.
I mean, I just don't think like I'm worried about the Bengals. Like, but they almost won the Super Bowl last year without an offensive line.
And that's where I'm at. But they look like the best team in football for the second half of the season. Like, undoubtedly, they were the best team in football. And like their line was a little banged up, right? And it's like I said last week, they didn't have a line last year. Like that was the whole thing. Joe Burrow put him in his backpack and took him to school, right? Like he took him to the Super Bowl in his backpack.
Yeah.
Can he do that twice in a row? And I'm not sure if he can or can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying I think he will or won't. I just don't know.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel the same.
If you have an offensive line like that's bad but cohesive, like they played together all season, that's one thing. Because like you can figure a couple things out, right? You might just not have as much time when you're pulling and plugging guys like they've been doing the last few weeks because of injuries. Like it's a different game. You don't have.
Here's the thing: though, was like last season,
and you need a ton of chemistry on that line.
Last season, no one really predicted the Bengals to make it. Like you got to really think about it. Like people were like, the Bengals aren't going to make it to the Super Bowl, and then they make it to the Super Bowl. The Bengals aren't going to be competitive against the Rams.
I don't think they were even favorites in the wild card game against Las Vegas.
I don't think so. And then they end up almost winning this like very close game. A great Super Bowl.
One play away. They were
again. The offensive line lost them that game.
I was about to say they were half a second in the pocket away from
a Jamar Chase wide open touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Joe,
That's kind of what I'm getting at, though. Is like we'll have to see next week, to be honest with you. But like Dennis said, we just don't know. It's kind of weird because like there's a couple games and a couple teams in this like in the playoffs right now that we know are going to be studs. Like 49ers, like let's be real.
Bengals,
The
Bills,
Chiefs, even. Yeah. Exactly. Like the Bengals, I think, are kind of like I wouldn't put them in a lock to be in the Super Bowl. This is what I'm kind of getting at.
No.
I mean, if they beat Buffalo, like Joe Burrow is kind of,
he has Patrick Mahomes' number. Yeah.
He's Patrick Mahomes' dad. Like he's got Kansas City's number. It's not like he's playing 1v1 with Patrick Mahomes out there. Like he just has that defense's number. And I don't know what it is. Granted, it's a combined 9 points over 3 games.
There's still one.
Still 3 games.
Yeah. No one else in the NFL has done that against Patrick Mahomes. Gone 3-0. Just another point too. Like the Bengals' offense is predicated on Joe Mixon running the ball and long developing routes. There's not like they're not quick hitters like. Sorry, Joe. They're not quick hitters like what Tua throws. Like their whole offense is based on longer routes because you have such dynamic receivers. You have Jamar Chase. You have T. Higgins.
They have the best 3 in the league.
The best, I would say they have the best from 1 to 3, the best receiving core. So like their offense, if you can't give them time, that's why they only scored 24 points in that game.
And if you can't get Joe Mixon to have at least like 3 yards of carry, like they don't even have to respect the run. That's the problem they were having against the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like if you can get Joe Mixon, I'll give him 2.5 yards of carry. You have to respect the run, right?
Yeah.
2.5 yards with like a spurt here and there. But without Joe, because Joe Mixon's a perfectly competent running back. And like if he gets going, you have to respect it, period.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's all we need to say about the Bengals-Ravens game. So I think we take a step here, and I'll say it right now. I think we saw what was the last game for the GOAT in Tampa Bay, the Cowboys-Buccaneers. Dak Prescott, you impressed me. I thought you were going to throw at least 2 picks. I did say Dallas was going to win this game. But I thought Dak was going to throw 2 picks. CeeDee Lamb, he does have he puts the opposite of what that stickum on his hands. I don't know what he does. He puts slime on his hands or something before games. I don't know what his deal is.
Bacon grease
he puts bacon grease on his gloves. He's like, I want to make this hard for myself. But I don't know. It's just Dak Prescott throws 4 touchdowns. Impressive. Didn't slip up. Tony Pollard, 15 carries, 77 yards.
All right.
Dalton Schultz. Where did he come from? Schultz coming out, 7 carries.
He's been hot
7
all
receptions,
year,
95 yards, 2 touchdowns. The guy came out. Cowboys came to play. I said Michael Parsons was going to have
Except
himself
for their kicker. He stayed in the locker room.
That is he still on the team today? Does anybody know?
Yes, he is.
Interesting. That's wild. If I'm them, I'm just going for 2 for the rest of the playoffs. I don't think that's ever been done before either. Like missed 4 extra points in a playoff game. I think that was the first time that's ever happened.
First time
since
it was 5 consecutive going to the end of the Commanders game.
Yep,
that's wild. So, Tom Brady, man, like I don't think you stay in Tampa. I'd love to see you go one more year and not go out the way that you did this year. But I think he finally hit the cliff. I think we're gonna see probably his last year next year. And the Buccaneers are going to be awful without him. They're 8-9 this year with him, and without him next year, with no money. I don't know. We're going to see what happens. So, but that's what I got to say about that one. Cowboys look good. Bucks, you didn't. And we're going to see how this next week plays out because I think these games are going to be really, really good, these divisional games.
So I'll say Tampa Bay did not surprise me the way they played. They played the way they played all season. I had Tampa winning this game. I like to make some odd predictions sometimes, right?
Never bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Never bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs. I think I literally said that.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this game and I'm seeing the players on the field. You got a 45-year-old quarterback. And I'm on conference call with the boys and we're talking and they're like, oh, why doesn't he throw a long ball? Why don't they just take some deep shots? They're down 4 touchdowns. I'm like, I'm not sure Tom Brady can even throw the deep ball anymore. Like, I mean, he proved he could. But when you're thinking like that says something, right? You got a couple of young studs on defense, right? Specifically like the linebacker spot.
Yeah.
Other than that, completely underwhelming defense. Your best wide receiver in that game, Mike Evans, but he didn't catch a touchdown. Was the best wide receiver Julio Jones, who is not Julio Jones anymore. Like, if this is 5 years ago and you're like, oh yeah, Tom Brady's throwing to Julio Jones, holy shit, like, that's a dangerous duo.
Mm-hmm.
Mans looks like he got one leg out there.
He does.
He
couldn't stay healthy on the Titans either.
Mike Evans dropping the wide open touchdown late in the fourth. You got Chris Godwin, who's not really himself, like injured earlier this year. I'm sure he's not fully back from that. Leonard Fournette is your RB1. The offensive line is like not great. And it's not like they're riddled with injuries anymore. Like most of the line came back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a good team. And like I'm not gonna say I think they'll have the same record without Tom Brady because I don't think Tom Brady helped them a lot this year. I don't think he's what he used to be.
No.
Max Kellerman talked about the cliff before the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl. The cliff is finally here.
Yeah. He was wrong for about 5 years.
And I'm getting so frustrated seeing all these TikToks and sportscasters talking about, oh, where's Brady going to now? He's done in Tampa, but where should he play next? He should retire. He's not a good quarterback anymore. Could he start in the NFL? Yes. Is he going to win another championship? No. You could put him on a Pro Bowl roster, and that team is not going to win the Super Bowl, and it's because of Tom Brady.
Yeah. So here's my thing is, like, I think we can talk about Brady all day long in the offseason, but, like, they're out of the playoffs. I don't really feel like talking about where he's going to go or if he should retire right now.
Yeah.
I think it's irrelevant. We got playoffs to talk about. Brady, you're not in the freaking playoffs anymore. Go cry about it somewhere else. I'm tired of Brady being in the playoffs. So it's
I love you, Joe.
like I'm so over Brady. I'm tired of hearing his name, just like I'm tired of hearing Tua's name. I'm tired of hearing Brady. The Dallas Cowboys played the best game of their season on Monday night when they needed to. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, everyone said Tom Brady, oh yeah, playoff Tom Brady. He's going to show up in the playoffs. He played like one of the worst regular seasons of his career. I think it might have actually been.
You could argue the worst.
Yeah. And then, oh, wait, he's going to make the playoffs. He'll be fine. I think I even said, like, Tom Brady in the playoffs, like, we're going to see him make it a couple wins in the playoffs. And I was wrong. I don't care. I called the Cowboys. Exactly. And everyone's, like, expecting him to turn up this magic switch in the playoffs. Like, the regular season didn't even matter. When, like, look at Mike Evans. Like, the disconnect with Brady and Mike Evans all season has been, like, it's not going to just happen in 1 week of practice. And you saw that in the Monday night game. Like, Evans went left, ball went right. Like, the story is as old as their whole season. Like, it's horrible. And now I want to go on to the Cowboys. Like, the beginning of that whole game, let's just go back to the beginning of the game, was the slowest start to a playoff game I've seen in a while. Like, I think it was at 4 or 5 3-and-outs, like, just right away.
And I think what hurt it is, like, neither of these teams are, like, super fun to watch, like, generally speaking.
And we said CeeDee Lamb, like,
the Cowboys can be.
Lamb.
They can be.
He dropped 2 passes in the first drive.
Bacon grease.
It was horrible.
He's not Lamb, man. He's got that bacon grease on his hands.
Yeah, it was bad. And then Dak Prescott getting enraged about his kicker missing extra points when, I'm sorry, Dak, you've thrown how many interceptions this season? You don't think your kicker is over there slamming on a, third and whatever in the red zone and you throw a pick? He's like, oh, I could have made a field goal there.
Or in overtime against the Jaguars.
I just think, like, the Cowboys, if they can continue to play consistent, which they haven't all season, so I don't know how much of a lock that would be, they could honestly make it pretty far. I see them almost maybe in the Super Bowl, definitely losing in the Super Bowl because it's the Cowboys. But
of course,
I really do think if they could consistently play, like, that's the problem. That's what that whole organization is trying to do. They have not, and I will say even on Monday, because your kicker was horrible, you have not had every part of the ball be 100%. And I don't think we're ever going to see the Dallas Cowboys until they do some kind. In the next era, maybe we might see the new Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones will, be in his wheelchair, 110 years old, rolling around in that suite, be like,
I love Cowboys.
Yeah. But it was a great game. I mean, everyone hates watching Brady lose. I mean, I hate the Cowboys, but
everyone hates watching Brady lose. I love watching Brady.
Oh, sorry. Everyone loves watching Brady lose.
My favorite pastime.
Excuse me. I misspoke.
Since we're on the copyright infringement, I gotta say, Micah Parsons is a bad man. He is a bad man. Micah Parsons, he's a dog. He's got that dog in him. I think he's going to be the biggest reason that they will move forward more than Dak and anything else. He takes over games.
You think they're going to move forward against the 49ers?
No.
And clock Purdy?
And we're going to get to that.
Great transition. I think are we done with the
I guess it is. Yeah,
great transition. Also, little sidebar before we get into this. How about the NFC East going from the bottom worst conference in the NFL last year and by a mile going to having three teams in the divisional round?
Could have two teams play in the NFC Championship.
So hats off to the NFC East. I mean, congratulations, you guys. You guys came out and really flipped it around this week. And now we're going to talk. I think we just start with one game. We give kind of our quick thing, and then we go to the next game in the NFC divisional, and then we'll move to the AFC. So my first two. So I guess I'll go first. I will take. Hear me out here. I'm going to take the Giants against the Eagles over the Eagles in the divisional game, in that divisional game. And I'm going to take the 49ers over the Cowboys. But I'll tell you why I'm taking the Giants over the
Eagles. Where's the camera? Hold on. I'm looking for the friendship camera.
Is that you?
Hear me out. Okay. I have a point for this. And then I'm going to move on. But Jalen Hurts is not 100% healthy. And the Giants, for some reason, in their organization, there is some magic twinkle dust that happens whenever they start playing away games in the playoffs. I don't know what goes on there, but for some reason, their average quarterback, and I'll say, I'm a Manning fan. Eli Manning is an average quarterback in the NFL. He was exactly 500. At best. So, but for some reason, he gets in the playoffs in the away games and became
the wild card spot go crazy
and became the greatest quarterback of all time. And then what do we see from? And granted, is the Vikings defense not great? What did we see from Daniel Jones? Wildcard weekend, been an average quarterback for most of his career.
Vanilla Vic.
Over 300 passing yards, 70 rushing yards. The first quarterback to ever do that in a playoff game. Like, I don't know what's going on. There's something special that happens in New York when the Giants get into away games in the playoffs. So I'm going to take the Giants over the Eagles in my major upset of divisional weekend. And I think the 49ers trounce the Cowboys. They're not going to be able to keep up. And Brock Purdy is him. We're going to see that this weekend. So, okay, those are my NFC games. You guys take it away.
All right, I'll take in the Eagles-Giants. I'm actually going to take the Eagles. I would like to take the Giants. I think there's a good chance the Giants win because I completely agree with what you're saying. Something happens, that wild card just go crazy for the Giants. Like, they got 2 Super Bowls from it and beat an undefeated Patriots team in the Super Bowl. Like, wild card go crazy for the New York Giants for no reason. There's no explanation.
No explanation. Eli Manning, exactly average, and then gets in the playoffs and he's better than Brady. It's what happens.
But I'll say shout out to Vanilla Vic. He went crazy on the Vikings. I think he'll do that again this weekend. But the Eagles are rested. They're the better team. The Eagles get the dub. They're healthy. They're rested. As long as they can run those QB runs with Jalen Hurts and his shoulders not bothering him too much, it's a lock. Lock it in. Eagles. Eagles over Giants. Like, easy pick.
Yeah.
49ers, Cowboys. I'm not going to go as far as to say Brock Purdy is him, but I will say I got the 49ers, and it's because of Brock Purdy with the Glock 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to do it to him. And I like Brock Purdy. It's a good story, but let's slow down on calling him. Because the only reason everybody's saying that is because of where he was drafted. Like, metrics-wise, he's an average quarterback. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, if he was a second-round quarterback,
by far, you wouldn't be saying this if he was picked in the first or second round.
Well, 3 touchdowns and no fumbles.
By far the best roster. You could throw a 2-yard freaking out route to Deebo Samuel.
He averaged 12 yards per throw in the air. Average of 12 yards air.
My boy over at Trap House Sports broke it down perfectly. You got 2 Deebo Samuels and 2 Christian McCaffreys on the same team. One just happens to be African American and one's white American. Like, Mr. Black and Mr. White.
Joe?
Look him up. Trap House Sports. He's the guy.
So, like, okay, I think you are completely foolish for thinking the Giants have a chance against the Eagles. And I mean, I think the game's gonna be a good game. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Eagles they have it. They're rested. Jalen Hurts is rested. I think he is healthy. I have not dove into it, but I think he's back to being healthy. After sitting since week, what was it, 15, 16, right?
Yeah.
He sat for plenty of time. He's gonna be fine. They're gonna get that QB thing going, that sneak going. I just don't see. I mean, the Giants' great story. Daniel Jones looking like Eli Manning, yada yada yada, whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
The Eagles are still the Eagles this season.
Fair.
Jalen Hurts has lost one game this season.
Fair enough.
So I mean, going to the other game. This game, I have a lot going on right now. I don't think the Cowboys can, like I said earlier, they're not going to be consistent play. They're not going to look nowhere near as good. Mm-hmm. This game could come down to a field goal, and the Cowboys will miss that field goal.
yeah.
But like
that's a good one, Joe.
The 49ers, like even with Brock Purdy, and we've said it earlier in the season, you could put anyone at quarterback, and that 49ers team's going to look electric and dynamic. And
you know what it comes down to? Coaching. And you have 2 Christian McCaffreys and 2 Deebo Samuels.
Exactly. That team is stacked. Like Pro Bowl athlete at every position.
Yeah.
You have the best tight end in football.
Yeah.
What is he an offensive lineman or is he a wide receiver? I don't know. He does both so well.
You know, here's what let me finish up. The Cowboys, good for you guys, won your first road playoff game since 1993. I think. Is that what it was? 1993. Most of the players on that team were not alive in 93.
Yeah.
So you're not making it past the 49ers.
Brock and I will Purdy say on that take, even if the rosters were matched, which they're not, like 49ers roster is a lot better than the Cowboys roster. Cowboys still have studs on both sides of the ball. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't. Even if they were matched, look at the coaching. Mike McCarthy or Kyle Shanahan. Who's going to win?
Come on. Exactly. That's all you got to say.
So I think we all agree on the 49ers. I'm the only one who takes the Giants. I was 100% last week, though. So keep that in mind, fellas, on my picks. So we're going to hustle through these AFC picks. We talked a lot about the Bills and the Bengals at the beginning of this podcast. So all that was said, I think Josh Allen loses the Bills this game. I think the Bengals win. And this is my major upset of the weekend. I don't know. There's something there's something I really like about what Trevor Lawrence is doing up there in Jacksonville. And I think the Chiefs have got a little complacent. It's hard to win off that first round bye in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence figured out, I mean, coming off the confidence that he has in the second half of that Chargers game, man, that was a wild stutter. I am taking the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Doug Peterson, he's been there before. Let's see it happen, boys. Duval. All right, that's all I gotta say.
All right, I'll say this. I've already made this take. I don't remember who I was talking to, one of you two earlier this week. I got the big cat matchup in the AFC Championship. I got Bengals and Jaguars. So I also have the Jags over the Chiefs. I think they're hot. I think the Chiefs are going to overlook them. It's going to happen. It's destiny. It's the big cat championship, baby.
It feels right. Does it not feel right?
It feels too right. It feels too right.
It feels too right. All right. Joe's looking at us with disgust right now, Dennis.
As far as the Bengals-Bills game, you say Josh Allen's going to lose them that game. It's like I said earlier, Josh Allen could play the best game any quarterback has ever played. The Bengals are just the better team. And I got Joe Shiesty. Joe Shiesty by a million. It's Joe Shiesty. Joe Cool. Joe Brr.
All right. Joe is looking at us with absolute disgust. So, Joe,
you guys are complete idiots for thinking Jacksonville has a snowball's chance in hell against the Chiefs.
Any given Sunday.
Trevor Lawrence threw 4 picks in the first half of that game. Yeah,
and then he threw 4 touchdowns
against the Chargers. Okay. Ooh.
Derwin James. Asante Samuel.
The score is good. It's gonna be running clock at halftime.
We need to make a potty promise right now. A bet.
A potty bet?
A potty bet.
Stop saying that. Sounds wrong.
Anyways, what's the bet? $10.
Yeah, go for the bet.
$10. Me and Dennis combined $5 in the pot. Joe, pays
us each 10. If
Joe pays us each 10, we pay you both. We both pay you 5, Joe.
All right, I'll take those odds.
All right, bet. For the Jacksonville game.
Yeah. All right, but Bengals Bills. This could be the best game. Like this could be like better than the Super Bowl, better than the AFC Championship, better than any game we've already watched. I think this is gonna be everyone wanted to watch this game that sad Monday night.
It was the one Monday night game that would have been good all year.
Exactly. This is going to be, I think, the best game that we've watched in a long time, other than maybe the college football semifinals. Those were some good games, but in the NFL,
better than
season, I think it's about to be right.
Better than Bills Chiefs last year.
This season.
Okay.
All right.
So
Bengals on a hope and a dream are going to come back in the fourth quarter against the Bills and win.
I love to see it. I love to see it.
Chiefs Bengals in the AFC.
I love it. I mean, I don't think it's a bad pick, but there's just something about them Jags that got me feeling some type of way.
Big Cat Championship, baby.
T Law with the hair, man, the thick neck. Have you seen the neck on that guy? I mean,
then we get to see Burrow, T Law in another championship game. Come on.
Oh, give it to me.
That is destiny there.
Pause. But like I'll pay big money to watch that game. Man, all right. Is that all we got for tonight?
I think that's a good wrap up.
That's a good wrap up. All right. Hey, thank you guys. Seriously, we appreciate you guys watching the show. Thank you guys for stopping by with us. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell. Let us know what you guys want to see next. And you can stop by with us next time. Peace.